Welcome to class 11 Python tutorial. All chapters are from Sumita Arora's textbook. I'll use Microsoft Visual Studio Code for all the demos. As far as the Python version is concerned, it will be 3.8.13. You can find the Python version by typing python --version on your terminal. Those are the prerequisites and the setup. So let's dive in. So school textbook uses Python version 3.6.5. So use anything greater than equal to that version and you should be fine. As far as getting this terminal is concerned, after installing Visual Studio Code, go to terminal and click new terminal, or alternatively you can press three keys, Control, Shift and then the tilde key, and you should be good to go. Let's get a taste of Python in the interactive mode. Type Python and hit the enter key. You'll enter into the interactive mode. So as you type commands here, the interpreter will read them, evaluate them and print the output on the screen. Here's an example. Please type the characters as you see on the screen. Print, open bracket, single quote, hello world, close quote and then a close bracket. Upon hitting enter, you'll see hello world. To get out of this interactive environment, type Ctrl D and you'll return to your shell. You can also use Python in non-interactive mode. So here I have created a file under a folder called chapter 6 and this is the content, the same content that you typed here. To execute this file, you can enter Python followed by the path to the file. So there you go. So we have Python followed by the path to the file and the output is displayed on the screen. Let's look at the print function a bit more in detail. A function is a piece of code that contains one or more statements. It accepts 0 or more parameters. Here we have one parameter which is a string called hello world. A built-in function is one that ships along with the Python distribution. So we have not defined this print function ourselves, but we are making use of the print function that comes along with the Python distribution. Upon calling this function, based on the function definition, the corresponding thing happens. So print is meant to output these characters onto the screen, or rather the output device. Here it's a screen, so we see the output here. You see that a bunch of characters are enclosed within single quotes. This is called a string in Python. There are a couple of variations. You can have a string either enclosed in single quote or double quotes or triple quotes like these. The only requirement is the quoting style must match for the start and the end positions. A string can be made up of 0 or more characters, so even this is a string. It's an empty string, but it is still a valid string. So if you run this program, you'll see 4 hello worlds, and of course you'll see this empty line because of this. Here's one more tip for you. If you're lost, go back to your Python in the interactive mode and type help followed by the command that you want to understand. This will pull up the documentation and you can continue to browse with your arrow keys. Hit the Q key to jump back to your interpreter interactive mode and hit Ctrl D to quit. You and I know that this program is meant to introduce you to the Python programming language, but someone who is looking at the code for the very first time without this background information won't know this. That's what comments are useful for. So here's a comment. It starts with a hash sign and goes on to the end of line. A comment can start in the middle as well, like this. So it tells it's meant for user documentation and not for the interpreter to dig into and execute statements inside the comment. Here is a multi-line comment. So each line starts with the hash symbol or anything after the hash symbol is considered as a comment as far as the line is concerned, because if you look here, the interpreter is allowed to execute this print statement because it is before the hash sign, but anything after the hash sign is a comment. So if you execute the program, the output will still be the same. So that's what single and multi-line comments are all about. A comment can also be typed when using Python in the interactive mode. To see this in action, so there you go, still prints only hello world. This is to show that comments are not restricted to Python scripts, that is Python code and files, but they can also be entered when using Python in the interactive mode. Exercise for you as far as this particular chapter is concerned. What do you think the output of this particular statement will be? If you guessed there won't be any output, you're right, because anything after the hash symbol will be considered as a comment. Since we don't have anything before it, it prints nothing.